Well, since it is 9 o'clock, and I know we don't have that much time to tell you a little bit about campus recreation at Santa Clara University. My name is Janice DeMonsi, and I am the Director of Recreation. And so this morning I do have some slides to show you that will show you our different campus rec facilities, as well as talk about our programs that we're very proud of. It is kind of unique not to be welcoming you to campus over a 2-day event, but I'm glad that we still have these opportunities to tell you about what we've got going on. And let me see, for some reason my slide is not, oh, there it goes. Okay, so campus recreation, our mission is we're committed to the Jesuit ideal of educating the whole person. So body, mind, and spirit. And we do that through providing services that enrich the lives of Santa Clara campus community through a broad scope of recreational, educational, and competitive programming. One of the benefits that I like to talk about is that our job intersects with faculty, staff, as well as students. So our audience is everybody. With the exception of club sports, faculty, staff can participate in our program. So it's kind of nice that you get to mirror and do some stuff with maybe a professor you might see in the gym. We do have a number of faculty that use our facilities. So our program areas are aquatics, club sports, fitness classes, intramural sports, memberships, open recreation services, and we do have a large summer camp program. Obviously right now, due to COVID, a lot of our programs look a little bit different, but we know that you are prospective students, so we're hoping that things will look a little bit more normal when you're coming to Santa Clara. One of the things that we're really proud of that we just worked on is a new website under our Center for Student Involvement called Get Connected. Part of this website also has, in addition to having an event calendar that I'm sorry you can't see unless you have a Santa Clara email because it's got a ton of Zoom, Zoom links to different programs, but it's got events. So like this week there were over 100 events for students to attend. It also has our wellness models. So one of the important things about wellness and what we like to model our work over is caring for oneself. So again, cura, personalis, which is a Jesuit value. And these are the 8 dimensions of wellness that we at Santa Clara find important. So we want to focus on your intellectual wellness, your emotional, physical, social, environmental, occupational, spiritual, and financial. And all of these work together. So we are delighted to have some web pages dedicated to each of the dimensions and be able to tell you what resources on campus can help you foster your own balanced lifestyle with those dimensions. And then there's our website. So our website is easy to remember, scu.edu/recreation. And here is an image of what you'll find. In the black toolbar, if you're interested in facilities, that's the first section. Then intramurals, club sports, services would be stuff like bringing in a guest or getting a towel or locker. And then we have memberships, fitness, camp, and about us. So about us, under there, you would find information about student employment, our mission statement, our diversity and inclusion statement. At this time, due to COVID, we've also developed a stay-at-home and stay active website that you are actually welcome to go to and use some of the ideas. So there's some links to some free fitness classes. So it's a great resource to have. The second yellow arrow points to campus recreation news. So under that icon is an update that I've been updating as there's new news. So like yesterday, I got to update that one of our outdoor facilities is reopened. So Santa Clara County has developed rules for playgrounds. So our outdoor fitness area just opened. So speaking of facilities, these are our facilities. So we have the Mallee Fitness and Recreation Center, which is a 45,000 square foot facility. It is open 109, 13, something like that, hours a week. Obviously right now due to COVID, it's closed. Santa Clara County just started having gyms be able to be open again, and they can be open at, I think currently it's at 25% capacity, and we're still working on what that means for Santa Clara. The Sullivan Aquatic Center is our outdoor swimming pool. There are 7 lap lanes open at all times for people to use. The exception being we close the pool probably about 3 days, maybe 5 max for different water polo tournaments. We don't close during the Division I men's and women's water polo teams games, but we do close during their tournament weekends, which again only happen 2-3 weekends out of the entire year, including the summer. Some of our outdoor facilities include Bellamy Field, which is a 4.3 acre turf field. That's where our intramural field sports, as well as our club sports that use the field practice. Then we have 6 outdoor lighted tennis courts. We actually need to update this picture because on the back 3 of these is where the new Athletic Excellence Center is located. That center will actually bring us 1 basketball court to use in the evening for programming, which is going to be a huge asset to our program when we're able to start doing contact sports again. Some other outdoor facilities we have is our outdoor basketball court. It's a half court right behind the Mallee Center, and then we have 2 sand volleyball courts right behind the Mallee Center. And again, currently we have two outdoor spaces open. So we have the outdoor track and the outdoor fitness area, but it was nice to be able to open the outdoor fitness area yesterday. So I'm sure students that are on campus right now are enjoying that space. Intramural sports is another one of our program areas. This is our largest program area. We have over 3,000 students that compete traditionally. We have moved into a virtual intramurals right now. So we are playing different, well, actually the next slide, we're playing a variety of different games. So we've got Rocket League, Smash Brothers. We actually have checkers, Yahtzee, and chess running this quarter, which is great to see. And then we have the other virtual games. But going back to our traditional program, so traditionally we play 14 sports annually. And each quarter, there's a different sport that we play. So for example, in the fall, we would traditionally play flag football. We would play tennis. We would have badminton. And we would have volleyball. And then in the winter, we would do basketball. We have a table tennis tournament. In the fall, we also have a dodgeball tournament and a 3-point contest. And then in the winter, it's basketball, co-rec soccer, and we have, like I said, table tennis. So again, the sports switch each quarter. And again, lots of participants, which is great. The winners of intramurals get that a t-shirt, the All Elusive Intramural Championship t-shirt, and the shirt changes every year. So students are really proud when they win a shirt. For club sports, so club sports are like Division I sports. They represent Santa Clara University and compete against other universities within the region as well as nationally. So we do have some nationally ranked teams that will play at the end of each year in a national tournament or in regional tournaments as well. So for our men's and women's programs, we have men's ice hockey and women's field hockey, and then for the rest, we have a duplicate of both. So we've got men's and women's lacrosse, men's and women's rugby, men's and women's ultimate frisbee, and men's and women's club volleyball. Obviously, for us right now, club sports have been suspended. Teams are meeting virtually for bonding events, but not practicing or competing at this time. For our open sports, so these are sports that take both men and women on their rosters. We have boxing, cycling, equestrian, triathlon, sailing, shotogan, karate, and swimming. Now, we do have only 17 club sports and the program is currently capped. So there's probably a sport or two that you're looking for that you don't see. Well, we do have, under the Center for Student Involvement, we have a number of recreational registered student orgs. There are over 150, I think right now the number is 170. And the ones that are related to recreation are bowling, tennis, barbell, and there's a distance running club. In addition, we have some programs that we know are non-affiliated. What this means is they don't practice at Santa Clara, they don't use the Santa Clara name, but we do have a men's and women's soccer program, and we have a basketball program. Fitness classes. So when things are up and running and normal, we have about 20 to 30 classes a week. This image is of a class that happened on our basketball court. We did a night event for Zumba. Most of our classes happen in what's called our multi-purpose room in the Mallee Center. And as you can see from the list on the screen, we've got a variety of classes. So yoga, cardio athletic kickboxing. We do have some Les Mills classes, so body pump, grit. We've got some spinning bikes, so we do have some cycling classes, and we have ballet bars. For students, our classes are free. Our faculty and staff do have to pay to take a class, and they buy a fitness pass, but for our students, they're free. We've been getting donor support for the last, this would be the 3rd year that we'd be offering free classes. So it's been a great asset to the program. Virtually, I didn't update this slide today, but we just got approval to finally have a Zoom fitness class. So we have a student who's going to be teaching yoga. We've got about, so we had 7 classes on the schedule. We actually didn't have anyone show up yesterday to our noon class. So we're hoping it's just because they were in class. Our next class will be at 7 o'clock at night. So we're hoping that there'll be more participants in that one. So we have been able to finally offer a live fitness class over Zoom. But we do also on our website for Stay at Home, which again, you are more than welcome to go check out. There are some various different free options of different fitness classes as well. Other ways to stay active on the Stay at Home page is there's some running routes from the Bronco statue for those students that do live near campus. There's some sports drills, some meditation apps. Obviously at this time when we are on Zoom and we don't know when the end of COVID is going to be, it's really important to take care of yourself. So the meditation links have like journaling, as well as other activities just to kind of calm your mind. Again, under the About Us, this is the section of the website that you would find our directory. So you'd see myself, as well as I have an assistant director who oversees our Intramurals, club sport, and camp program, and her name is Catherine Hutchings. And then otherwise, we're only 2 full-time staff at this time. And so we really rely heavily on student employees. We have over 130 students that work for us annually. And there's 13 of them that are coordinators. So they work in the back office, really helping us run the program. So if you do make it to Santa Clara, you can always look on our website. We talk about, under the student employment section, we talk about when we hire for most positions. So we have students that work at our front desk, checking students in. We have students that work in the weight room. We have students that work on the intramural field as a supervisor, just checking teams in. And then we also have, obviously, intramural officials officiating soccer, basketball, and football. The other things that you'll find on our website, sustainability is really important to us. So we talk about our different recycling brigades and the waste characterizations that we've done, which means that we've played with our trash. So an entire week's worth of the Mallee Center trash, both recycling and compost, and looked at it to see where students have mistakenly put something in the wrong bin. And then we try to brainstorm ways that we can improve that. We also compost all of our dryer lint. So we wash a lot of towels with our towel service, and our weight room has maintenance towels. So sustainability is extremely important to us. And then we work again with a lot of campus partners on our wellness model and bringing students different programs through different offices. So we do have some meditation programs through campus ministry. So we'll advertise their programs instead of us having our own meditation program. You can find us on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram, SCU Campus Recreation. So you'll find us there. And then now is a chance for you to unmute yourself and ask questions. I'm gonna stop sharing screen at this point. So if you wanna take down our website again or our email, so our primary email for questions is just campusrec@scu.edu. So if there is a question that you have, feel free to email us, visit our website. And then now, if you do have any questions, because I tried to run through the slides very quickly, just to give you an opportunity to ask questions that are of an interest to you. So that was a huge, fast, brief overview of Campus Rec at Santa Clara. And if you want to put the question in the chat because you don't want to say it, you can do that as well. So what is the process of joining an intramural team? That's a great question. So Each quarter will have a registration period. So that typically is that you will, the first week of school, see on our website that you'll have to join what's called IM Leagues. So IM Leagues is the website that we use. A lot of universities use that too. So as you're looking at other schools and seeing how they do things, Intramural IM Leagues is a software where we put all of our active students, faculty, staff in. And so you create an account in IM Leagues. Our registration period typically opens the first Wednesday of the quarter and goes to the second Tuesday. For virtual, we did make the registration period 2 weeks, but during the academic year, because we've got to get all the games in and you're not able, there's no flexibility. You have to be at Santa Clara to do them. So we only allow a week of registration. So registration would start the first Wednesday of all academic quarters and end the second Tuesday. And it's all online, so you could register Wednesday at 12:01 when it opens, or you could register at Tuesday at 11:59. Now, the only problem with waiting till Tuesday is the way that we set up the league. So if you are playing flag football and you're gonna play, you look at the league schedule and all your teammates agree that Wednesdays at 7. So let's say that hypothetically is league 10 is the best time for you. Everybody can make it Wednesdays at 7, so you want league 10. Well, there's only 4 spots. So if you wait until Tuesday at 11:59, that league might already be full. And then you have to decide, okay, it looks like Tuesdays at 5, league 7 is still open, or we could play Sundays at 2, and then you have to decide. So the way that the league play works is you would play the 4 teams in your league. So again, let's say that you got that spot Wednesdays at 7. So for 4 weeks, you're gonna have a game every Wednesday at 7. The 4th week, the first place team and the 4th place team and the 2nd place team and the 3rd place team play one another in interleague playoffs. And you could have the best season ever and be the 1st place team, and that 4th place team beats you in interleague playoff, they advance to playoffs. So that game matters as much as the other games because you wanna have a good ranking in your league. And so then the 2 top teams, the 2 teams that win that interleague playoff advance to playoffs. That is the point of the quarter where you might play on a Tuesday or a Sunday. It might not be still Wednesdays at 7 because we try to get all the teams to play all of the playoff games and end during the week of Dead Week. So Dead Week is the week before finals. And so we try to make sure that you're done intramural play before finals start so that you can then focus on finals, go home for the quarter, and then come back. But that's a great question. And what other questions do we have? Yeah, so teams are formed. So intramural teams, obviously students would meet people at orientation. So again, as a new student, you're gonna be meeting people at orientation. You'll be meeting people when you first move in. But if you haven't met enough people to form a team, what we do have is free agents as well. So in intramural leagues, you can say, hey, I really wanna play flag football. I don't know anybody, so here I am. And so people can message one another because you'll see that someone's interested in football. Maybe you have 10 people on your residence hall floor that want to play and you just need to get, well, every league has different rules. So if we're playing 5-on-5 basketball, obviously you need 5 people to always be on the court. And your roster, I think, maxes out at 10. And so you might want to have 5 extra people in case I get sick and can't come on Tuesday night. So you could look at free agents and try to find 5 other people that want to play with you. So we do have men's divisions and we have women's divisions, and then we have co-rec divisions for some of the sports. So we have co-rec divisions for all sports except for flag football. Otherwise you can play any of the teams. So Jake, that's a great question about joining the non-affiliates. So if you do end up coming to Santa Clara, I do keep in close contact with the non-affiliates so that when students ask us about men's soccer or women's soccer, I can point you to a student to talk to. currently I luck out, like the student that is on the men's soccer is actually one of the students that works at my front desk of the Mallee Center. So I would be able to put you in contact with that student and they would be able to answer all of the questions about how to join soccer. And that's a great question to ask. So if you guys do end up at Santa Clara, that's a great question to ask at orientation, because that's usually the summer before the fall quarter starts. And you would be able to then figure out all of those details. What other questions do we have? Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. And then speaking of teams, again, for intramurals, we also do have singles sports. So if you're a tennis player, you could do women's singles. And then if you did want to find another teammate, you could do women's doubles. And what's nice about intramurals, what you can't do is play in 3 different women's singles tennis leagues, but you could play women's singles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles for tennis. So you could play in 3 different leagues. And that's especially good for students that do want to stay active and they enjoy tennis or whatever other sport that you enjoy, because the time commitment each week is about an hour. So there are, in the Mallee Center, there are 3 indoor basketball courts that are open to students. Those 3 basketball courts between the hours of 5 and 11 o'clock at night do get programmed for club sports and intramural sports. But like I referenced the picture of the tennis courts, there is a new building on campus called the Athletic Excellence Center. What that building allows for us to do is program on one of the courts at night. And so what we haven't decided, because that building is actually just opening right now, is how we're gonna program it. So are we gonna put intramural sports over there? Are we gonna put our club sport practice? What it will do for you as a student is it will free up one of the courts in the Mallee Center. So in the winter quarter, because we run intramural basketball and we have 3 club sports that practice on the courts, we have the 2 volleyball teams and we have the boxing team. So the boxing team does their just conditioning workouts. So we don't have a ring for them to use on campus. When the boxers are ready to be learning in the ring, they go down to the PAL, the Police Athletic League in Sunnyvale, and practice there. But what that means is when we're running intramural basketball and we have those 3 club sports, between the hours of 8 and midnight, there are no rec courts to use. And there's only 1 court from 5 to 8. So with the new AAC, it allows us to keep probably 1 court open for rec all the time in the winter quarter, which is going to be huge. So yes, we do have 3 indoor basketball courts that are open for students for basketball. Again, I think I tried to touch on the time commitment for intramurals. It's really going to depend how many sports you choose to play. So if we take the tennis analogy and that woman is playing women's singles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles, she's got to schedule 3 matches a week, and then they've got to report who won. So she'll know, like, let's say I'm going to play Iris. And so I figure out with Iris, we're gonna play Tuesday at 10, and then I've got to play Hannah and her teammate in mixed doubles, and then for women's doubles, so it might be 3 hours in 1 week. But again, it's kind of up to you. If you only play in the women's flag football, you're only having 1 game a week. During playoffs, we might schedule you for 2 games during the first week of playoffs, especially if we have a lot of teams that we need to get through before finals week. So there's a weekly game. So for intramurals, it really depends if your team wants to practice. So some of the teams do practice, but I would say probably 80% do not. There are students that they're gonna be playing, especially basketball. They come every day at 4 o'clock. They end up forming a team of those same people that come every day at 4 o'clock to play pickup basketball. So that probably counts as a practice, but most of our teams don't practice. They just get together on game night. Maybe they get there 10 minutes early, pass the ball around. So it depends on your team and how motivated you are. But great question, JP. Any other questions for today? So again, to use, and I don't even think I touched on this, to use the Mallee Center, when you are a registered student taking classes for that quarter, it's free and you have access to it. On our website, there is the membership tab, because if you are someone who is going to live in the Santa Clara area for the summer, but not take summer school, then you would have to pay for a summer membership to use the gym during the summer. So otherwise, as a Santa Clara student, once the first day of fall quarter starts, you would have access, and access is either given through a mobile credential or an actual access card. And you would scan that when you come to the rec center to work out. So Hannah, great question about the field. So Bellamy Field, most evenings from 5 to 10 is programmed. So we have, obviously in the fall, we have flag football out there playing games, and then we have all of our club sports practicing in and around there. So you can get time on the field. Like, you can look at the weekly schedule for Bellamy Field. All of our calendars are on our website under facilities, and usually find some time, especially on the weekend. So like, let's say a Saturday morning that there's not a club sport home game, you could go out there and probably play softball with your friends. We do not have access to the athletics D1 softball team's field, so we do play intramural softball on our Bellamy field, turf field. A guest pass, so a guest pass, there are two options. So you can sponsor a guest for $8 to use the facility at any time. That's the current rate. And they could choose to buy a multi-visit pass, which has 4 visits on it. So instead of paying 4 times 8 is 32. Instead of paying $32, we discount it $2, and it's $30 for 4 visits. So it depends if they think they're going to come a couple times, or if they're just going to come once and visit with you. So again, they have to be over 18. When it is move-in weekend, so welcome weekend and family weekend, we do waive the fee for family and friends coming. But all other times there is an $8 guest fee. So if it's welcome weekend, you just show your badge that you've registered for welcome weekend, and parents can come in. And that's actually another time where you don't have to be with your sponsor. So when you do bring in a guest, what we ask is that you're with your guest at the front desk. You fill out the forms together, because there is a part of the form that you're taking responsibility for the actions of the person that you're hosting. And there is no limit on the number of, there is no capacity on the number of guests that you bring. So for example, on Sunday mornings, one of our faculty members essentially brings 2 basketball teams. He brings a lot of guests. It's not a huge impact on us. Most of you, for some reason, are still sleeping at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And so we allow him to bring in as many guests as he wants. If it did become a part where it was taking away time for students and it was impacting, we would probably start to put a limit on the number of guests that people bring. But at this time, there's also no limit. So you could bring 5 of your friends. They just each have to pay $8 to use the facility. They could come back in on that same day. They just show their receipt. So again, you can come in the same day. Great question about equipment. You do not need to bring a basketball with you to campus. We do have equipment checkout. If you have a special ball that you like to use, then yes, you should probably bring it. But at the front desk for free, we have basketballs, jump ropes, fitness bands in the weight room. For the weight room, we have tennis rackets, badminton rackets, obviously the balls and shuttlecocks to go with those. We have volleyballs, outdoor volleyballs. We have footballs, we have soccer balls. But again, it depends what, if you have a favorite, then you might want to bring that. So yeah, let me explain a little bit more about the Mallee Center. So the Mallee Center is 45,000 square feet. So within there, we've got the 3 basketball courts that I've already talked about. All of those courts can have basketball or volleyball on them, and then court 3 can also have badminton. So we have 1 court that you can put badminton nets up on, and you can put 3 of them. Then when you first walk in and then you turn down the hallway to the left is where you would enter into our weight room. So the weight room is 9,300 square feet. It is full of all of our strength equipment and our cardio equipment. One of the things that we're reevaluating right now is our equipment is pretty much on top of one another. So with COVID and viruses in general, we do need to rethink about the layout a little bit and whether or not we're going to move some equipment out of the weight room to provide more space, because we do have it pretty jam-packed, just because we want to make sure students have access to flat benches and the free weights that we have. We have 2 free weight sections. We have one section on what we call our heavyweight side, which goes from 2 pounds all the way up to 100. And then we have on our carpeted side, we have 2 pounds to 40 pounds. And we have a ton of weights. So we have, I don't know, like 5 pairs of 15 pounds and 5 pairs of 10 pounds. And then obviously as they get heavier, we might only have 3 pairs of 62.5, but we still have a variety of different weights. And then when you leave the weight room and keep walking down the hallway, you'll hit the multi-purpose room. And so that again is the space that we have our fitness classes in. And then if you head, I like to say when you're at the Mallee Center, it makes a big U. So the basketball courts are in front of you, the weight room and the multi-purpose room are to the left, and then to the right are our locker rooms. Each of our locker rooms have showers as well as a dry sauna. And so for swimmers, it's nice to hop in the sauna after you swim, because again, like I showed you, the pool is outdoors. So if you're joining us, I grew up in Vermont. So if you're joining us from Vermont, you're thinking, it's gotta be an indoor pool. No, not in California. So we swim year round outside. We do heat the pool to 80 degrees. So it is usable year round, even in the rain. And then you would be able to come inside, take a warm shower, or sit in the sauna for a little bit to warm up if you need to. And so that's pretty much how the Mallee Center is laid out. For the rentals, there is no time restraint except for you have to return it by the end of the day. We do keep your access card. If you do have a mobile credential, you get an orange equipment checkout card, and we keep that as the collateral for you returning the equipment. So you just basically borrow the basketball for while you're in the gym and then give it back to the front desk before you leave. And we give you back either your access card or your orange card for your mobile credential. I do know that the admissions office did do a they came into Mallee since it's been closed, and I don't know where they put the footage, but there is footage of inside the building. I know they walked down the hallway into the weight room. So the hours of the whole facility traditionally Monday through Thursday, the Mallee Center and locker rooms are open the same time. So it's 6 a.m. to midnight. Fridays, we open at 6 a.m. again, but we close at 9 p.m. Saturdays, we open at 8 a.m. So not even 6, sorry, we open at 6:30. The staff gets there at 6. We've been closed for so long, I forgot our hours. So Monday through Thursday, we're open 6:30 to midnight. Fridays, we're open 6:30 to 9. Saturdays, we're open 8 to 9. And Sundays, we're open 8 to midnight. Our usage on Mondays, we average about 1,400 people checking in from 6:30 to midnight. And then it's very interesting, but then it goes like 1,300, maybe 1,100, maybe 900. And then on Saturdays, we only have about 500 people checking in. And then Sunday, it spikes a little bit more because we have a lot of programs in the evening. And so it spikes back up to 800. And then Monday again, everybody's back, 1,400. I don't know what you guys do all weekend, but you do something that makes you want to come back and work out all day on Mondays. So our busiest times for the Mallee Center are pretty much when most students get out of class. So between 4:30 and 7:30. But there's students are in there at 6:30 in the morning as well. They're in there at 10 if they don't have any classes in the morning, but the busiest times for the gym is typically between 4:30 and 7:30. And that's the same with the basketball courts. We do get a lot of students that come in around 4:30 to play pickup basketball. And then they leave around 6, I think, to go get dinner. And then they might come back later. We do have people that do that. They'll work out in the morning and then come back and play basketball. So they're there like twice a day. And we don't mind that. Being active is good. There's actually data that shows that students that use the rec center at least 3 times a week have a higher GPA than students that don't use the rec center. So keep that in mind as you're studying and picking schools and needing a break. Go take a walk or go work out. It's very good for your mental mood, all of it. What other questions do you have on this Friday morning? Well, I'm glad we were able to do the virtual. So how far, another great question. So how far is the Mallee Center from the dorm? So again, if we were on campus, right across from us is, I believe it's called San Filippo. Most of the residence halls, so I went to a very large school. So I went to the University of Arizona. So, and when students, there's the farthest building from campus is about a 10-minute walk, or from our building, the farthest academic building is about a 10-minute walk. So student workers that say that they are late for work because they had class in O'Connor, I just start laughing at them. I'm like, no, it's not okay. This campus is not very big. I had to bike across campus in order to make sure I got to work on time at Arizona because there was just no way. Everything is really close on campus. So when you leave the Mallee Center, there is a residence hall right across the way. We're about a 5-minute walk to the Benson Center in the library. And then the farthest dorm residence halls from where the Mallee Center is probably Swig. And behind that is, I think, Dunn in McLaughlin. And that's probably maybe a 15-minute walk. Most students living on campus or off campus all live within a 3-mile radius. So most of our students don't shower at the Mallee Center unless they're living much further away, or maybe you have a presentation that day and so you come and work out and then you do bring clothes. Most students come, work out, and then go back home and shower either in their residence halls or at their house off campus. The competition for intramurals, it depends on the league. So for basketball, we do have a D1 league and we have a D2 league. And so obviously for the Division I and especially for the men's leagues, it can be extremely competitive. We do want everyone to play. So for leagues that we know we're gonna have a lot of signups, we usually do have a D1 and D2. For co-rec soccer, we just have a D1 and a D2. We also don't have a lot of space to be able to have a non-competitive and a competitive league. So you will play teams that maybe are more into it and very competitive, and then you'll play teams that are just out there to have a good time. But there are leagues that do have the D1 and the D2 breakout to allow for people that really want to make it more intense and be competitive. But we do want everybody to have a good time too. So in regards to intramurals, probably, I mean, there are going to be people that will tell you all of them are extremely competitive. But I do think in basketball, we see it in the men's D1 league. And we see it a little bit in the co-rec because I think everybody wants the shirt. And then for flag football, there is a D1 men's league. For the women's league for flag football, in the past, we've only had maybe 2 to 3 teams. So the opportunities for the women to win a shirt are very good. And the competition, I think really most people are out there just to have fun. I think badminton is surprisingly, can be fairly competitive. I think tennis, most of the students have a really good time. Some of the students, so because tennis is not one of our club sports, the tennis club, which is under Center for Student Involvement, can play intramural tennis. And so those matches, some of them can be really competitive because you have members of the tennis club playing. But again, it's still a mix. I think volleyball can be competitive sometimes. Our club volleyball team members are not allowed to participate in volleyball. So I think for students, it's fun and nice. It's the same with basketball. The D1 basketball players can't play. We do actually get the women's soccer team, usually plays on the women, creates a women's basketball team, which is fun. Softball is definitely not competitive. Well, again, everybody makes it what they make it, but students have fun with intramural softball. It's not fast pitch. It's slow pitch for softball. We try to limit the risks. So obviously fast pitch softball can be a little dangerous. So, and just not everybody knows how to pitch fast pitch. So it is underhand. All of the rules are online. I don't know without a Santa Clara login if you can see them. I don't think you can, but if you do come to Santa Clara, you'll be able to open all of the rules because they're just a Google Doc that is shared with anybody who has a Santa Clara email. Softball has a men's league, a women's league, and a co-rec league. The only sport that doesn't have a co-rec league is flag football. These questions have been great, by the way. I'm glad I talk fast. Again, now you know I'm from Vermont, so that's an East Coast thing. The women's league, I think, again, it's just gonna depend. I think the co-rec leagues can be a little competitive. I really do think it depends on the team that was formed. I mean, I think some of the residence halls will form their own team, and it's really that they all want to just do something on a Tuesday night together. And so they've picked intramurals to do it. And so it's just to go out and have fun and be social and be active a little bit. If there's a sport in particular that you're really, like you've played competitively in high school or on a club team in your community, I think you could find like-minded students at Santa Clara and form a really competitive team to play. But I think you might have half that have played and then half that haven't played. I know, for example, I played on an intramural volleyball team, probably now, my son is 12, so it was definitely, I've worked at Santa Clara for 18 years, so I've been in my role for 18 years, so I think it was probably 15 years ago. And I never played competitive volleyball. So, but again, we formed a team of Mallee employees, and it was really to have fun, but there were like half of the team had played and half of the team had not. So we just basically created the rotation with had played, not played, had played, not played. So the long distance running club, I'm not quite sure because that's under the Center for Student Leadership. So I don't really work with them. But my guess is there are students that are on there that are training to run something, and there are other students that are just on there because they want to find someone to run with and they just want to have a running partner. There are a lot of great runs from Santa Clara. We do have 2 right now that are on the website from the Bronco statue. One's a 5K and one's a 10K, but pretty much a lot of students do the 5K one because it's 3 miles when you run towards the Rose Garden and around the Rose Garden and back to campus. It's a really pretty run. It's on a street that's flat. And so we do have a lot of different running opportunities around campus. Around campus itself, we have the Bellamy running track, which is made up of a DG material, which is just disintegrated gravel. So it's not track material. And then we have a loop around campus when you go from the Bronco statue just around the border of campus. That is 0.73 miles long, and the running track is 0.43. So if we ever do something with the running track in the future, I'm hoping that we can get it to be at least a half mile, if not something a little bit larger, so it's easier to do the math. But in the display case at the track, at the Bellamy Field opening, there is the breakdown to how many laps it would be to the different mileage because it's such an odd amount. So those are the answers about the running club. We do, under club sports, we do have a triathlon club. And so that club obviously can do different team races. So you could have people on there that just simply run. They have no interest in biking and they have no interest in swimming. And they're just going to be the one that is in the relay that runs. And so that is a competitive club. They represent Santa Clara, and they practice in the pool, and then they go on bike rides and runs. And they do have a mix. So they do have students that just join because they like running, or maybe they do also like swimming and cycling. Yes, you could play on the women's softball and the co-ed softball at the same time. So very much like my women's tennis example, I could play women's singles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. What I cannot do is play on 2 different leagues for women's singles, 2 different leagues for women's doubles. The system doesn't, IM Leagues doesn't allow you to sign up for that anyway, but yes, you are allowed. We did have to create a rule. Our D1 basketball teams were signing up as D2 basketball teams as well and keeping the exact same roster. We stopped that. That is not allowed anymore. So you can have, I think it's 2 people from a D1 team or D1 team playing on a D2 team, but no more than 2 can be on a lower team roster to ensure, yes, to ensure that there's not, it's not rigged for teams getting t-shirts. Well, again, if you do think of a question later, you can just email campusrec@scu.edu and let us know your question. You can also visit our website. We have left, even though, again, COVID right now has caused all of this new stuff, everything is still there from the past, and only because we want to make sure that people can see what normally happens. So like our fitness pages still have the schedule from winter quarter. I think that we did have the finals week schedule on there too, and that's still up. And then we basically just created a new page for the 7 classes that Ashley's teaching this fall, so that again, when things go back to us being open and offering 20 to 30 classes a week, everything is there. So same for intramurals. We created a separate page for the virtual intramurals that we're offering now. If you want to see what we offer in the fall, winter, and spring for sports, you can go online and see that information. All of the facility information is still there. Again, all we did is change the hours and just put that we're not open at this time, and it's to be determined. And again, outdoor fitness is open and the track is open. And I hope you are all staying well, and your families are too. We do not have personal trainers at this time in the rec center. So again, we've done some benchmark studies. There's only 2 full-time staff. We did have a 3rd staff employee, but he was on contract. And so because of COVID, that contract was, well, it was set to expire June 30th. And so it wasn't renewed. And so it's on our strategic plan. As we are able to implement that, one of the things that we would like to add is personal trainers. At this time, we don't have them. What's been great, obviously, is there's a ton of great, amazing apps that are out there that can help you develop a workout. Our fitness instructors are all certified, so they are certified and they obviously can teach you in your classes. Even if you're going into, let's say, one of the circuit classes and you've never done a squat and you're like, I don't know the proper form. Again, they're trained to do that during the fitness class and can teach you how to do the squats and make sure you're doing them correctly. But we do not have personal trainers in our weight room at this time. It is on our list of wants. So hopefully eventually. Well, thank you everyone. Again, if you have questions for us in the future, just please reach out and enjoy your weekend.